Hey guys, one question every West team. Let's just dive right in. We're going to start with the Rockets. My question is about Şengün. After the KD trade, this team, they're hoping to win a title. And my question is, are we about to see peak Şengün? Now in Eurobasket, where the pressure is very high, the dude's been great. I mean, he made a whole bunch of jumpers versus Jokic in Serbia, which, by the way, Jokic in Serbia already out of the tournament. And then against Poland, he was just taking guys off the dribble time and time again. And he's making great passes, and his team's cutting off of him, and the whole thing, right? And so when we look at Şengün this past season in the NBA, the all-around game improved. He was in better shape, the defense was better, all that stuff. But the scoring was a little worse. And the finishing wasn't as good, and even if he's got all of his floaters that take 3 seconds to get off, but they go in, and the one-legged jumpers and just all the fakes around the rim, all that stuff is great to look at. But he just had to be a bit more efficient than 19 a game on 55 true shooting, right? And so we'll see if his performances in Eurobasket so far show that we're about to get peak Şengün, which is all of the improvements he's made, but then also his best as a scorer. And also having a full season with Amen starting with him, and just how much Amen freaks out defenses in any two-man game we get to see with him and KD should be good stuff. Now let's go to OKC. I guess it's just going to be Chet. What does Chet's more so offense look like? I mean, if he had 65 games played this past year, he would have been an all-defense guy, right? But offensively, we know that Chet can take the ball off the dribble. We know that he can shoot. And so I guess what I'm wondering is it going to be more of him just kind of fitting in and just being talented enough to get to about 15 points a game off of just wherever he's at on the floor he can score? Or will OKC encourage him to take more shots and be more aggressive off the dribble? We'll see. I mean, he already got the max contract, so for his sake, he could just have this role and he's still getting paid the same, but I don't know, we'll see. Next up, let's go to the Clippers. What the hell am I even supposed to do with this one? My question is all of the questions. What happens with Ballmer? What happens with Kawhi? How long is this investigation going to take? Next up, let's go to the Warriors. I guess it's going to be Steph's workload. I mean, we're still waiting on, Kuminga, Horford, Melton, whatever. But I remember earlier this past season, the first something amount of games, you would look at his minutes per game and he was in the high 20s. And eventually it got to 32, which even that's 32 minutes per game for Steph the last 2 years is lower than what it was for many years. Makes sense. The dude's going to be 38 this year. And we all know that he can still have his superhero moments. It's just he's got to reserve those for the playoffs, play-in games, whatever. But it's more so just the grind, day to day. How much can you realistically ask this guy to do? How much can Steve Kerr really ask him to play high minutes game to game? And it would be great for an offensive jump from pods, even if it's not a crazy one. The Kuminga situation, I mean, as of me recording this on September 9th, there's been some suggestions that we could be seeing another qualifying offer, and if that's the case, then he just becomes way less tradable for the Warriors, and they need that spot to be somebody who can take some pressure off of Steph. I mean, yes, Jimmy definitely helps all this. We know what their record was with him, but you'd like to at least have one more guy who can make Steph's day a little easier on offense. Next up, let's go to the Lakers. I've talked about the Lakers a lot this offseason, so I don't know if there's any new questions I truly have, but I will just go with, can they pull off some sort of heist of a trade? We all know they did one last year. We all lost our minds for a while. We're still kind of losing our minds over it. The version of that this year would be can you turn Kleba and Vando and those type of contracts, and maybe Pelinka would be willing to move picks for just somebody who can actually help. Wiggins made some noise for them the other day. They could definitely use a good on-ball defensive wing who can make shots on the other end. The thing there, though, is Rui is just good, and so in an ideal world, you're keeping him and then acquiring somebody who can really help you. And if that's not possible, then okay, again, my question was, can they pull off a heist? But then again, you gotta shell out the picks. Dalton Connect stock is probably not very high right now. Next, I'm gonna go to the Nuggets. So every time I ask anything about the Nuggets now, it's always gonna be about the defense, non-Jokic minutes, whatever. So I'm actually gonna talk about the offense. It feels weird to say this. They've actually never been the number one ranked offense in the regular season with Jokic. They're always number 4, number 5. And I feel like this could be the year they actually get number 1. We all know that the bench is better. Valanciunas can actually get buckets as a big guy off the bench, just being a bruiser, scoring at the rim. We all know this. He just had a great game versus Greece in Eurobasket. But also, I do think with Hardaway now, and I'm just going to say maybe Julian Strawther does a little bit, maybe, and then Gordon having his best three-point shooting season pretty much ever this past year, they might get their three-point rate up a little bit more. Then I don't know, maybe they'll finally be number 1 in that thing. I mean, Jokic last season had a 125 offensive rating. That was the highest in the league among guys who actually played. Maybe Murray won't do his normal, start slow for the first 30 games of the year. Maybe Christian Brown takes some more threes. I don't know. Now let's go to the Wolves. I think it's got to be Dillingham, man. I mean, sure, I don't want to put too much pressure on a year 2 player, but the Wolves, like, they gave up an unprotected 2031 pick, and there's a very decent chance, if I'm reading it right, that the Spurs will have swap rights on the 2030 pick that was also moved in that deal that I feel like didn't make as much noise at the time. And we all know their guard situation. I mean, Conley's too old. DiVincenzo and Ant are not really point guards. I mean, I've said that exact phrase like 6 times this offseason. And so with Dillingham, man, I'm still just remembering one play from the regular season, one specific play. It was an Ant, Gobert, pick and roll, swing to Dillingham, attacks off the dribble, and then either it was a floater or it was a lob to Gobert, so I don't totally remember the play, I'm sorry. But the idea was extra offensive juice that we know the T-Wolves need, and that was the reason they drafted him. So this year, like, Finch, if he doesn't give Dillingham more of a runway, then this is going to get really awkward, because again, they gave up very real draft stuff for this kid. So either he's going to be this spark plug scorer that, yeah, they're going to have to cover for defensively, and I'm not sure he's ever going to be much of a high free throw attempts guy, but we see the player he can be on offense, and so we'll see if it happens. Now for the Spurs. So at first I was going to go with Sohan, but I think I'm going to go with Mitch Johnson, who is now the official successor to Pop. Yeah, he was coaching them a lot this season, but thrown into the role really quickly. Wemby goes down middle of the season, Fox trade. Well, now he's got a clean slate, and I'm just wondering, what is the thing that Mitch Johnson becomes known for as a coach? I mean, this past season, the Spurs, they were among the highest three-point attempt teams in the league. Chris Paul allowed them to run more pick and roll. De'Aaron Fox should allow them to run even more than that. They've clearly encouraged Wemby to just let it fly from 3. Do they ever want to rein him in even a little bit, like maybe from 9 threes a game down to like 7 threes a game? I don't know. They've encouraged Sohan as a screener on and off the ball, partly because you need him to do that because of his lack of shooting. And also, and sure, not all this is on the coach, some of this is just on the players, but will the Spurs' mentality this season be, F all of you other teams, we're already better than you? I think Castle will have that, but can I expect that from like Devin Vassell? I don't know. Let's go to the Kings. Where does DeRozan end up on the all-time scoring list? This is all I want to talk about with the Kings right now. So this doesn't have to be just exclusive to this season. I mean, DeMar right now is like 1,200 points behind Tim Duncan, and Tim Duncan's 20th all-time. Obviously, this is just regular season. Now, Steph is ahead of DeMar, and Steph is going to keep on climbing this thing as well, but assuming DeMar goes for a couple more years where he pretty much never gets hurt, like he clears 70 games played basically every year, and he scored like 1,700 points this last season. I mean, DeMar is going to end up pretty comfortably in the top 20 all-time as a scorer, man. Is all of that going to be on the Kings? I don't know. Next, we're going to go to Dallas. My question is going to be about Derek Lively in a post-Luka trade career now. Kyrie's great. D'Lo is fine. Cooper, we all love Cooper, but it's not Luka. I mean, him catching lobs from Luka already became such a signature thing for him. Like, I'm pretty sure in my instant reaction to the trade, where I didn't know what the hell I was saying, I'm pretty sure I was like, wow, I'm never going to get another Luka to Lively lob, unless Lively ends up on the Lakers, I guess, now. Not only that, but I think with AD here now, like, yeah, I'm sure they have a vision of AD playing with Gafford or playing with Lively, and we all know that AD would prefer to be the 4 next to a 5, but offensively speaking, I don't know if AD and a big guy is going to be better than just AD as the lone big guy. And that would also put Lively in a tough spot. Now, maybe that wouldn't be a problem. I don't know. I'm just saying it wouldn't surprise me, right? And all this happens as Lively, after this upcoming season, will be extension eligible. So we'll just see. I mean, one byproduct of the Luka trade was it took Derek Lively's career that looked very simple, just the perfect spot next to the perfect guy for him, and now it's just a bit in flux. Now we go to the Grizzlies. My question is going to be about Jalen Wells, and if there were some subtle signs in his rookie season that he can be a bit more of a scorer than he perhaps has been labeled as so far. We might just think of Jalen Wells 3-and-D guy, that's it. And yeah, there's a chance he just caps out at that, and that's fine. But with how quick his release is, with some of the threes he took, like not all of them were just wide open catch and shoots. And then also with the occasional cut, drive off the catch, some floaters, some actual dribble moves in there, the occasional up fake around the rim, keeping the dribble alive an extra second. I'm just saying there could be something there besides just 10 points per game scorer who guards opposing team's best guy for Jalen Wells. And also, with Desmond Bane gone, somebody's got to take some more shots. For the Pelicans, I mean, you could go like 9 different ways here. I guess I'm going to go with Trey Murphy, because it feels like him and Herb are the closest things we have to guarantees for this upcoming season. Because everything else is, I mean, is Zion going to be healthy? I don't know. what's the minutes going to be like between Messi, Queen, and, I mean, they signed Looney for something unless they just wanted to ride the bench. Poole, the whole thing. Look, it feels like me and every NBA nerd on the internet is always just like, dude, Trey Murphy, like, this guy's legit. I think everybody gets it, but this past season, he made real strides with working off the dribble, attacking off the catch, working in some one-on-ones, and using the threat of his jumper, which is a quick release, and he is able to make them from a couple feet from behind the three-point line, and using that to then get to the rim. The free throws were up. I mean, the guy went from 4 drives a game 2 years ago to 9 this previous season. Now, as I say all this, his efficiency actually went down from the previous 2 years. Still pretty damn efficient. He's basically at 60 true shooting. The turnovers were a little up. Like, yeah, there's going to be some growing pains there, but I just think there's a lot to be excited about with Trey Murphy, and I have no idea what the team around him is going to be. And so, in a way, the question is everything around him, but it's him. I don't know what the hell I'm saying. Okay, now we go to the Blazers. There's many questions you could have here, but the one that I'm going to have for this video is, what is a realistic ceiling on the amount of blocks that Donovan Clingan could average for a season? Because his per 36 is already 3 blocks, and the only guy ahead of him is Wemby. Granted, he is basically tied with like Kessler, Chet, Daniel Gafford, but this is only his rookie season, and the dude is a giant. I swear when I'm watching him, he looks like he's 7'3". Wingspan is huge. I mean, look, Mutombo had like an 8-foot wingspan. Mark Eaton was a little taller than Clingan. Wemby is, of course, taller and has a larger wingspan. But he's in the ballpark with some of these guys, right? And so it'll come down to the stamina. It'll come down to how he does long-term at guarding outside of the paint, and also if he can develop more on offense. But even so, him just being a brute force on offense with screens and offensive rebounding, there's value there. But if he can remove all of the potential obstacles with getting his minutes up there, I mean, I think he could clear 3 blocks a game. I think he could maybe dip into like 3.5 blocks a game. Like, those are really high numbers, but there have been enough times of that happening to be like, yeah, it's possible. Now for the Jazz, it's going to be the guards. Whether it's Keontae becomes an efficient dude who takes shots off the dribble, and then he can hang around on defense enough, or it's going to be Collier rounding out his passing skills with being a scorer of any kind on, once again, good efficiency, or Walter Clayton is going to be better than both of them. I don't know. But he's now going to be the third bet that the Jazz are making on a guard who can be the starter on a team that'll be good one day. Not saying Keontae and Collier can't have places on a team, they can, but we need somebody to run the show here. So we'll see. And now we have the Suns. I don't know. Does Jalen Green get consistent? Can Ryan Dunn shoot? Is Mark Williams healthy? Is Malawach ready to contribute right now? I don't know. Take your pick.